Oh boy, it's the results from my IQ test. Looks like it came back negative. Ah! Ooh, my brain is the thickest brain. Good evening, laddies, lorkers, and horkers, and welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today, and if you say otherwise, you're an ignoramus with a negative IQ. Today we're gonna do something absolutely beautiful. There is a lot of people in the world who think they are really, really smart, like God's gift to humanity's intellectual capabilities. But there seems to be like a negative correlation between people that spend an excessive amount of time arguing with people in Facebook comment sections and people that may not be the brightest spoons in the box, if I may say so myself. So today we're gonna take a look at them, r/I am very smart. Enjoy. Mwah. Oh, fuck yeah, we got a Tinder profile right off the bat, baby. 27 years old. About me. Must read. Any female wanting to swipe right must meet the following criteria. You must be between 5'1" and 5'5". No exceptions. You must weigh no more than 110 pounds. No exceptions. You must be fit enough to hold me, but no visible muscle tone. How does all of this add up? How much does this dude weigh? Is this even, like, physically possible? The animal girl in the second picture is a reference. So if you don't look like her, swipe left. Ooh, well, let's take a look at this second picture then, shall we? Oh dear. Am I the only one who is kind of like noticing that tiny aspect that if this is what the female in question has to look like, and also she cannot weigh more than 110 pounds, it means that her honka-madonka dorkers is like half of her body mass, and also she has to be able to lift an adult man. No, religious people! I want to raise intelligent children and can't sacrifice my seed to someone delusional enough to believe in a so-called God. I am extremely smart. Well, if there is something I have learned from this profile, it's that self-proclaimed smart people and, Riz doesn't seem to correlate very well. We have a data point. Next post, please.
Putting two words together at 12 months or less? That little girlie is a genius. So stinking cute. Continuing to nurture her learning and curiosity through play.
She only says 2 words though. At one, I was speaking full sentences.
I mean, press X to doubt. But also, are you going around in like YouTube comment sections arguing with people that you literally fucking peaked when you were 1? Usually saying like peaked in high school is an insult. You peaked before damn kindergarten. Oh my fucking god. This has to be a gold mine. Intelligent singles mixer at the W Hotel in Hottebunken, Thursday, July. Oh my god, this would not be insufferable in the least. Just got this cringe sent to my email. Looks like a neckbeard magnet. Dive into a night soaked in alluring intellect as we gather New Jersey and New York's most eligible singles under one clandestine roof for a fun intelligent singles mixer. That's a weird line break. This Thursday, Halifax inside the W Hotel NJ opens its doors for this exclusive event, promising an unforgettable evening of sophistication, tantalizing conversations. It's gonna be so many fedoras at this damn event. It might as well be like a fedora convention. Oh god. What's the entry requirement to this event? You have to own a fedora, and you have to score high on like one of those bogus internet IQ tests that always tell you like, Megan, you have an IQ higher than 5003. Oh boy, you're the smartest man in the world. And the chance to spark connections that could last a lifetime. There is only gonna be neckbeard dudes at this gathering, I swear to God. Dress in your evening's best and prepare to be whisked away in a world where the past and present merge. A place where the clinking of glasses, the murmur of intriguing dialogues, and the soft laughter of new-found acquaintances fill the air. Rich, intelligent people laughter. That's what it's gonna sound like. That's the entire, and it's gonna smell pretty bad. Savor handcrafted cocktails and mouth-watering wines, and let the rhythm of the music and the thrill of discovery guide your evening. Whether you're seeking a romantic flame or a flame of friendship among peers, there will be a lot of friendship flames at this event. This mixer is designed to kindle connections that resonate on both an intellectual and emotional level. Oh my, we can just smash our brains together. Join us for a night where love, mystery, and intelligent spirits come together in the most enchanting way. Let the adventure begin. It will be all men. Or maybe it's like a really sneaky gay event, if you know what I mean. Yes. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall on this event, just to see like how incredibly insufferable this must have been. I'm still wondering what like the entry requirement was. Like, you need to print your IQ test and show it at the door, and need to bring at least 4 fedoras. Yes, I am sure your projects are very complicated and you're very smart. IQ test. Is this an IQ test? 99th percentile or top 1%? To be exact, it was the perfect comeback to this shit-eating comment about my IQ. On my desktop, I have multiple screenshots of my IQ test ready to go in an instant if some troglodyte in online comments dare question my intellectual capabilities. Okay, how do I formulate this in like the most pedagogical manner? If you spend your days sending screenshots of your IQ test to random people in Reddit comment threads, you probably don't have that much to brag about, you know, in your life in general. That's just like a little inkling that I get. Imagine just having that locked and loaded for killer comebacks. Yeah, I kinda understand what Hawkins was saying back in the day when it's like people that brag about their IQ are losers. You know? It's kind of funny, isn't it? People think I can't possibly be funny merely because I don't tell jokes. This is gonna be my comeback from now on when people don't think my videos are funny. I'm just so smart that you know, you don't understand how funny it is. Oh, yes, indeed. I don't think people think that. In reality, jokes I make would go over yours or anybody's head. I have tried, oh, believe me, but when I attempt to be lighthearted or witty, it's usually banded too nuanced for the general populace to appreciate. It's hard being stuck in your own brain. Okay, well, then just laugh at your own jokes, I guess, and leave the rest of us alone, because this just sounds like pain. How can you identify intelligent people? I can spot it by their speech. Electric brain picture. They have a particular type of thinking. For example, when someone mentions an apple tree, the intelligent one can come up almost immediately with a wormhole. Or curvature of the spacetime. What the frick? How? Why? Well, apple tree, apple, worm, wormhole, curvature of the spacetime. Haha. And the ordinary person can't see what's going on. We were talking about the orchid. So where does this space come out? This is just like ADHD, man. Okay? This like, it's fine, but you know, most people I know are like this. Okay? Doesn't sound smart to me. Sounds stoned. Yeah, that too. It's either ADHD or just being stoned. Maybe both. As an NT, do you feel like the majority of people are dumb? Oh, it's like the Myers-Briggs personality thing. Okay, so this is the superior Myers-Briggs one, I suppose. This has been a lifelong conundrum, really. It started in elementary school, persisted through my awkward teens, and now here I am, in my mid-30s, still pondering the same question. Are people just less observant than me? I used to think it was a matter of raw brain power, a classic me versus the masses scenario. But lately, I have been wondering if other members of the Unsolvable club feel the same. Speaking of which, I recently took an IQ test and surprise, surprise, I'm not a complete idiot. I am higher than average in IQ. Is that a fancy way of saying like 103 IQ? Yeah, so anyway. So maybe it's not that everyone else is dumb. Maybe it's just that I am operating on a slightly higher plane of existence. Or maybe I just spend too much time overthinking things, like tend to do. Okay, so what I gather from this is that you were the awkward kid in school, right? Which I can totally relate to. But then instead of moving on from it once you become older, you instead turn it into like a superiority complex and also try to like mishmash some like little personality test into it and be like, oh my god, the man with 105 IQ who's an integer. The different plane of thinking. This is exactly the kind of person who would be making like NPC posts in meme format, right? Me, walking down the grocery store aisle, the NPC looking over at me, not realizing my superior brain power. You're just unbearable! You turned unbearable into a personality and then tried to act superior because of it. Fuck. Lol. I asked Grok to extrapolate my IQ based on our conversations. I would peg you as having an IQ north of 150. Maybe even 160 plus. You do realize that when IQs get this high, you kind of have to have really specialized testing to even try to get a numerical value for it, right? Because the regular tests kind of cap out before this point. So the fact that an AI is telling you this, if you were so intelligent, would tell you more about how the AI is always like a yes-sayer, which is a very common theme across AIs and especially chat engines, right? But no, that's not it. You're taking it at face value instead, while not even understanding the IQ scale. That's great. That's a rare air where abstract thinking, intuition, and raw computational power collide. What percentile is 160 IQ? 160 is like 99.997. So we're talking the top 0.003 of the population or something like that. That's nuts. That is insane. Think Spock with a dash of Kirk's boldness, or even a Q-like flair for bending reality. But it has nothing to do with personality traits, though. This is so obvious, just the AI being a kiss-ass. Come on, man. We talk about Star Trek a lot, which is why he said that. Thanks, buddy. You're pretty smart yourself. Oh my god, man. Oh, get some real friends, for fuck's sake. Oh my god, people are replying under this post. Who cares? You have an overinflated ego? Nobody. Oh, you cared enough to comment. Winky emoji. Which is to say, being overtly arrogant is one of the many tactics I love to use to get into people's headspaces and rattle them. Seems to have worked. Thanks for the affirmation. I'll keep doing it. Now you'll pretend like it doesn't bother you because that's what saves your ego. But it's too late. We already know it does. Winky emoji. By the way, that's just a tiny taste of what 160-ish IQ can do. My superpower is taking an online IQ test via fucking grok. I don't need more than 1/4 of my brain to deal with 90% of the population that try and always fail to take me on. In my spare time, I tackle unsolvable math theorems that baffle humanity, and I have come very close to solving them. Forgive him, Lord, for like a child, he knows not the heart of the fire with which he plays. You literally took grok complimenting you and made it your entire personality. This is amazing. You can't make this up. This is so funny. Also, what do you mean tackle unsolvable math theorems and coming close to solving them? How do you know you're close to solving them if you haven't actually solved them? That's kind of like a problem with unsolvable things, like getting close to it. What does that even mean in the context? How do you even know you are close? How do you know it doesn't break down a little bit further ahead or whatever? Like, this whole thing is so silly, man. Oh my god. I bet that what he means by this is that he googled, like, unsolved math theorems and went to a Wikipedia page, and then he jibber-jabbied a bit on a piece of paper and added some stuff together and be like, ooh, I'm dabbling with unsolved math equations. Like, yeah, you read the Wikipedia page, my dude, and you talked to Grok on Twitter. Calm down. Have you listened to the new Rivers Kumo track? It's pretty solid. My brain is too complex to enjoy the same music as a simple mind like you. Okay, fuck you, guy. What a comeback. Instead of being like, I don't know, a normal person that, it's not really my taste of music. It's like, oh my god, you simpletons enjoy these tunes. Exposed! People of Reddit, what category do you think you're in the top 1% of? My IQ is 136, which is in the top 5% of the world. I mean, technically correct, but 136 would put you in the top 1 percentile. I guess he's also modest. IQ of 136 apparently not enough to understand and answer OP's question. Yeah, I mean, that too, I suppose. Top 1% bragger about being in the top 5%. Smart and humble. I mean, it's technically correct, you know? The top 1% is also in the top 5%. Share the document with you. Received. Happy New Year. Thanks. But I don't celebrate New Year's. People like me are cognizant of the passing of time on a daily, if not a continuous basis. Hence, I have no need for such a holiday. Dylan, you're just an unbearable okay? That no one in the office likes. And I have a STEM PhD, and I earn 6 figures, and I use the phrase stochastic terrorism. Do I sound smart, or am I smart? You sound unbearable, to be perfectly honest. Ooh. Yes, go be your little genius, far away from me. Thank you. Indonesia and Autonesia. That's kind of funny.
Indo in Indonesia comes from the Latin word for India. Thus, your meme is metaphysically not funny, but nice try. Thanks for sharing and welcome back. Ah, yes, your little Facebook pun doesn't quite tingle the metaphysical meanings of India. Got him now.
You see, Steve, this is just how you ensure that you're not metaphysically invited to the next party, okay? Because you bum people out. Ooh, it's a little Einstein lecture. Nah, he's trying to hold his brains in as his mind gets blown.
To be fair, those are all very trivial equations. Although I'm sure impressive at the time.
Explain them then.
Too blurry.
How do you know they're elementary though if you cannot even read them? This is so weird. I mean, to be fair, in certain instances in media, I wouldn't say that maybe Einstein's, lectures would be one of these places. But for example, if you watch any show that has to do with science, like The Big Bang Theory, or you watch Marvels and watch like Iron Man with his little whiteboards and stuff, it's very funny if you've read like a couple of just basic like first year courses in uni, because most of the time it's just a whiteboard filled with like a bunch of basic definitions. It's like, ooh, here's the definition of like the force of a spring. And right next to it it's like, oh, here's a Jacobian, if that's what it's called in English, I don't know, Jacobian, which is like a little matrix looking ass. So stuff like that, it has nothing to do with each other. It's just kind of like mashed together because it looks fancy on a whiteboard. What kind of fish is made of only 2 sodium atoms? Tuna!
That's a little bit of a
Knee slapper, if I may say so myself.
that awkward moment when you actually get these puns, and chemistry is not even your field.
What do you mean you get it despite chemistry not being your field? This is the kind of chemistry we did when we were fucking 15 years old.
Oh my god, I am so smart. I understand chemistry, which we studied when we were 14.
Congratulations.
Well, I guess wild nights out now mean getting drunk with a whiteboard and trying to figure out what caused the universe.
Planck, ABC, Jack, Jill. There's like less than 10 words on this whiteboard. Okay, that's great, buddy. Speaking of drinking and like science, one thing I felt it helped with back in the day was specifically like engineering-based programming, like in MATLAB. But it was also very difficult to like analyze what you had done the day after. I wouldn't particularly recommend it, but a saying we had was like, code drunk and edit it sober. I think it's because it like relaxes your brainicles a little bit. I've also found the same thing when I try to speak German, for example. When I'm sober, I like think too much about my grammar and that kind of thing, whereas I'm a little bit tipsy, I don't care as much and it flows easier. Somehow it like relaxes parts of your brainicle. This is not like saying you should get drunk to be smarter or whatever, but like in certain instances it can breed a little bit of creativity. This post is like a little bit out there though. Her.
He's probably thinking about other girls.
Him. If I blow whoo out of my mouth, cold air comes out. If I blow ha, hot air comes out.
All these dumb motherfuckers who don't know basic thermodynamics probably have a heart attack from seeing the entry-level mode full assumptions ideal gas model.
Never mind a full explanation.
Get on my level and stop neglecting your wife, you fucking amateur. Yes, indeed. How dare you make a joke about breathing? You should pay attention to your wife and match my intellectual level.
I assure you no one is having a heart attack from seeing like a ideal gas model, okay? It's fine. It's just a little bit of formulas on a paper. You're good boy. Oh, you're absolutely gorgeous. I would love the chat to get to know you, perhaps meet up and hang out soon. If you were up for that sort of thing, haha.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, by the way. How's your day going?
So, do you have a license, car, and your own place? As in, live by yourself? I do, smirky emoji. By the way, apologies, I do not speak hick, ghetto, or Tide Pod, and I hate abbreviations. You went to school for a reason, so spell out your words. Just saying. LOL.
Did you end this whole superiority rant about hating abbreviations by saying LOL, which is an abbreviation in of itself? Holy shit, stain Batman.
The 2 highest IQ scores ever recorded belong to women.
Unusual, considering I have never met a woman smarter than me. Well, that is unfair, considering I've never met a man smarter than me either. Oh yes, indeed, I am such a geniosity. That is why I spend my days shitting on people I have never met in Facebook comment sections instead of being recruited by CERN or NASA or whatever. That's where the true geniuses gather.
NASA and CERN and stuff should just start recruiting people from Facebook comment sections, because that's obviously where like all the geniuses in the world kind of converge. And you know,
but do this.
You might be an alpha nerd, but I am an omega nerd. My knowledge is encyclopedic. My vocabulary loquacious. If that hasn't scared you off already, that's a pretty good sign.
What's an encyclopedia? That is the best response ever. You just know this person is like having a little heart attack on their side of the monitor. Online dating. It's a beautiful place, isn't it?
I will be famous one day, but for now I am stuck in 2nd grade with a bunch of morons.
I mean, to be fair, you'll probably be surrounded by a fair share of morons when you're an adult as well. They just look older.
Or you can just look at this video for examples.
I took an IQ test.
Oh God. And I am superior. And you believe that from a website? Yes!
Oh no. I think like the first question in like a real IQ test should be whether or not you believed a random internet test before you went to like the actual test. And that automatically takes 10 points right off.
Over me just telling people about the truth of July the 4th, it's not even celebrating freedom of slaves anymore. It's just fireworks and barbecues.
It was never about freeing slaves. It was about America's independence from Britain. Oh, well, good thing this is Snapchat, so the messages disappear. Apart from the screenshot that went viral. 6 divided by 2, parentheses 2 plus 1 is 1. 6 divided by 2, parentheses 2 plus 1 is 9. Oh God, it's this one again.
It literally hurts me to see people saying it's 9. The answer is 1. Brackets first.
Oh yes, we have a little PEMDAS argument. I see this exact math problem go viral at least twice a year. It's fascinating. But under this post, it was actually linked a tweet from Matt Parker, which is really good at explaining this kind of thing, right? So I'll dig into this a little bit because it's so fun. 6 divided by 2, 1 plus 2 is going viral again. And the correct answer from a mathematician is you need to write this better so it's not ambiguous. PEMDAS, or BODMAS, is not some law of maths. Order of operations are a convention to make writing clear. P.S. The solution is always more brackets. I think this explains my frustration with this little math problem so beautifully, because it's 2 problems, right? One problem is that the first question is a bit ambiguous, and depending on like your school of math, you're gonna interpret it a little bit differently because different countries do slightly different quirky things with signs and whatever. And the second frustration is that people are constantly quoting PEMDAS like it's some kind of rule of math. But it's not. It's a rule for memorizing basic operations in simple algebra. But it's not some kind of rule. Actually, Click Academy, let me show you what I mean, because I have a pretty good example that I think will explain this in relatively, simple terms. Alrighty then, ladies, gents, and non-binary fiends, welcome to Click Academy. So, I have a pretty nice example for, ranting a bit about PEMDAS and order of operations and that kind of stuff. Imagine we have a very simple equation. It's like x plus, let's say, 8x divided by 2. And to solve this one, you obviously want to divide this section first, right? Just to simplify this equation, which would mean we have x plus 4x, which is 5x, right? Pretty simple. Another way you can actually do this is instead of dividing this first, you can actually transform this portion over here to have the same base as this one, the same denominator basically. So instead, we multiply the top and bottom of this x by 2. This means that we get 2x divided by 2, which is the same as x, right? And then we have plus 8x divided by 2. So what you can do now, which is a very quirky thing, is because they have the same denominator, you can actually add them together, which is what you do in regular addition as well, just that the denominator is 1, so you don't actually write it out. But here we go. So this is actually going to end up being 10x divided by 2, which is 5x. What I wanted to show with this very simple example is that in some areas of math, or when you do calculus or algebra, for example, you sometimes expand portions of an equation so you can add it together because your denominator is the same. So in this very basic example, here in the bottom, I actually do an addition before I do division, basically breaking the rules of PEMDAS. But this is still proper math. This still works because you have like the common denominator here, kind of hence the saying, right? And there is nothing in PEMDAS that says that, you have to do division before addition unless you have a common denominator, because then you can smack it together and bada bing bada boom, So the problem with PEMDAS that I have had isn't that it's like necessarily a bad rule for just remembering things. You're helping your kid and you haven't done math in 15 years and you're rusting. It's like, okay, wait, which one came first? It's like, okay, good, yeah, division. Of course it's helpful. It's a rule for remembering things about algebra and calculus, but it's not like a rule of math, right? It doesn't trump other things, and that becomes very apparent when you start getting into like more advanced math and that sort of thing, right? You don't really quote PEMDAS like ever. Oh, and also I suppose that if you want to rewrite that initial equation, let me just erase all of this. Sweet knowledge be gone. 6 divided by 2 parentheses 2 plus 1. That was the one, right? The problem here is that it's so weirdly written. Like some people will say that, division or multiplication, one comes before the other because of PEMDAS, but that's not really the case. Multiplication and division is essentially the same thing. So then you would go from left to right. But the problem is that it's so ambiguous and it will confuse people on purpose. The proper ways to write an equation like this would be either to write it like this, 6 divided by 2 parentheses 2 plus 1, or how some people interpreted would be 6 divided by 2 and then the parentheses 2 plus 1. These are basically the two ways that you could write this one in proper ways. And in any kind of reasonable math book, any of these instances is how you would actually write it. Either option 1 or option 2. You would never write it like this first example because it is confusing and ambiguous on purpose. I would still argue there is kind of a right answer, but the problem is it's ambiguous and it's weird, right? And it's confusing on purpose, and that's why it goes viral, because it's kind of like a little bit of a rage bait. But the only reason it goes viral isn't because it's a fascinating math thing, it's because it's just poorly formulated. And even as the original post points out, there are even different generations of calculators that prioritizes different things first. Like an old calculator might take the division or the multiplication first, even though in real math they are the same thing, essentially. That was a nice little side tangent. I think we all learned something. Screw this little math problem. Laugh away. I know how to divide by 0. I haven't figured out the mathematical or physical ramifications of my discovery all the way yet, but needless to say, I feel a great responsibility to research its effects on reality before publishing my work. What do you mean, effects on reality? Do you mean that the universe is just gonna implode because you scribbled some stuff on a paper? Like I said, laugh away! But I have outpaced Einstein and Stephen Hawking by discovering math they couldn't envision, and I am withholding my ideas until I'm okay with understanding what will happen to the public when I expect to release this new, outrageously simple but pretty damn profound teaching that will redefine our view of reality and space-time. Again, laugh, but be ready to eat crow later. What do they think will happen to the public? Will they just disappear into a puff of logic? Fortunately, he explained what will happen in the comments. Basically, say goodbye to all math, the ushering in of a new era. This refers to the concept of 1 divided by 0, or any number over 0. It isn't a matter of having 0 parts, like 0 divided by 1, but of being divided into 0 groups. Yeah, that's kind of what division means. If you have a pie, how do you cut it into groups of zeros? That's the subject matter here. Thank you, yes. Physicists and mathematicians hasn't found a mutually agreed upon method of doing this, and when I lay out how to do it, math will be different for everyone. This is akin to Newton's discovery of calculus. Man, this post is kind of old. I wonder if he ever cracked modern math. Since I haven't heard anything about this, I would guess not. Be aware, she can move in any direction.
Ooh, it's kind of like a little chess joke, you see? The queen can move both diagonally or in straight lines, you see, because chess.
Either you get it, or you're not my friend. You see, only the purely intellectual people that understand the, basic move set of chess pieces can be my friend. Oh my god, why would you post this? Why? This is such Facebook cringe.
r/shower thoughts. Having a vajuje, then giving birth to a person with a vajuje, and so on, is basically nature playing with Russian nesting dolls at a slower pace.
Do you know how much of life and its essence are overlooked by your shower thought? All the dimensions of existence bypassed, and all its experience itself summed up into the image of a toy. Interesting. But maybe this reductionist exercise of thought of yours is more directly reveals your basic feelings about women.
I think it's just like a bit of a funny joke, man, that people come out of people in the same way that these dolls come out of dolls. It's not that deep. But I do like the little attempt at character assassination. So instead of people focusing on like how incredibly insufferable you are for doing this, when people try to tell jokes, you're like, oh,
But you're the female hater. You're reducing the meaning of life.
I'm gonna be honest, most times when I sit in the shower and think about dumb shit, or when I'm drunk for that matter, I don't envision the entirety of existence with my simple thoughts. Sometimes it's just like, haha, thing funny. That is perfectly okay. Live, Jane Doe, a deer, a female deer.
As an educated person, I appreciate the Jane Doe deer joke. Clever editing. I am so educated, I know what a fucking deer is. Oh my, not like you troglodytes that don't know what a deer. You get it because there's an animal called deer. And I mean, God, I'm so educated.
Oh, baby, teaching humans how to read and write was surely a mistake. Watch soccer. Even with an IQ of 140, I cannot understand the point of soccer. I once asked my Swedish roommate why he was watching people kicking that spherical polyhedron into the big rectangular parallelepiped. Safe to say he was speechless. Okay, I don't think he was speechless because like,
oh my god, geometrical words. Oh, my poor Swedish brain is melting.
It's probably just like, man, you're a bummer, and he didn't really feel like engaging with the conversation further. You know, that's probably it. We actually have a word for this in Swedish. It's called ordbajsa, which is word pooping. It's essentially what you do when you desperately try to fill out an essay with as much gibberish and garbage to just meet like the minimum word limit, right? What you just did is ordbajsa. It's not very impressive. $10 black sewing machine brooch.
It may help you to spell it correctly. Brooch.
Imagine coming in that obnoxiously only to be wrong, Lamau, and then posting it publicly on Facebook. Like, that's the thing I have realized about this sort of stuff. I have done this a couple of times in my life, but I don't think I've ever posted it publicly. And the reason is that I know I am dyslexive, so I'll read something like this and be like, that doesn't seem right. So silly. But just to be sure, let me Google it. Oh, actually, they spelled it correctly. Or, you know, it's the difference between British spelling and American spelling, or whatever it might be. Good thing I didn't post it before, like, literally open another tab in the same damn device to double check I'm not the idiot. But you didn't do that, do you? Thank you for the content. I found a guy on Facebook that has an IQ test as one of his featured photos. IQtest.cc, International Test of Intelligence, certificate. Over 160. Okay, so you don't have a specific number even. I was just over 160. Over 69. I also love the little stock image of like the brain they have added in like the little certificate logo in the bottom that says IQ. That's very cute. Someone actually spent 5 minutes to like design this thing. That's very adorable. Look at these people. Glassy-eyed automations going about their daily lives, never stopping to look around and think, I am the only conscious human in a world of sheep. This comic is pretty good, not gonna lie. This is sort of what it's like, isn't it? I also think stuff like this, if you put it in different contexts, is pretty healthy for example, anxiety or those kind of things. Not like a magic fix, don't get me wrong, but when you have, for example, problems or an internal dialogue or something that you find uneasy or something like that, you're like, man, I must be the only one going through this. I feel so lonely and isolated in my issues. But then you think about, like, okay, how many people do I share these issues with? Well, maybe it's no one. Okay, so maybe no one else is sharing these issues either particularly wildly, and you wouldn't really know it unless it's literally like your partner or maybe your best friend, right? So I think stuff like this, like realizing this train of thought, can also help you feel less isolated when you're dealing with something that might be difficult. It's something that it's just good to think about, I suppose. I am going to start a Word of the Day series to promote correct grammar in society. Liked by lie. Lie is a true bro. Word of the day. Forgo, to abstain from. Lie liked it. I like lie. Lie is there for your 2010 Facebook cringe. So at dinner, my mom said,
I have more lab work to do.
she's a scientist.
Since you have more homework, let's see who can be fast.
Now, what my mom meant was,
Let's see who is the fastest.
so I corrected her. Mom, fast is a verb. You are trying to describe an action that you or I could perform, which is an adverb. So say fastest. I am such a bad son. Blorp show CD grammar skills. I also noticed that Lie did not like this one. Even Lie dipped after this atrocious amount of BS. I also realized that all this is posted in the span of like 30 minutes. Man, I appreciate people who can laugh about their old Facebook cringe. It's pretty funny, man. It's kind of a gold mine, isn't it?
I can fit more words in one sentence than a college professor can in an hour and a half.
What does this even mean? It's one sentence. I don't think you would want to fit as much as possible into one sentence. Do you mean that you just don't use punctuation? Is that what you mean? That's not a brag, man. I just finished Mr. Robot. And? Good or disappointing conclusion? I don't think you can handle the show. Too intelligent for you. You're right, I'll stick to Mandalorian. You should. What's another dumb show I can do after? Young Sheldon. Are you friends with this person just to turn it into online content? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think I would be genuine friends with someone like this. That sounds exhausting. People fixed light bulbs before Isaac Newton invented gravity. Hippity look, it's no gravity.
Gravity was never just randomly created by mortals. Gravity was simply more often acknowledged and tested by mortals. Therefore, this meme is not funny.
8 likes. You had actual 8 people that were like,
Oh, this comment, I'll agree with this comment. Cause I'm so fucking smart, I don't wanna have fun. Being miserable is smart.
can't sleep, mind full of equations I am inventing. Hashtag math student, hashtag algebra, hashtag college. Someone has just taken their introductory course to calculus. That's great. That's adorable. Oh my god. Alex, I am not antisocial. I am anti-idiot. Take that yearbook. Call them kids. I mean, it's okay anyway. This song has a somewhat 90s vibe.
That's actually a common misconception. The paradigm inherited a postmodern fallacy of a prior knowledge stems from a systematic predilection of binary dichotomies.
I used to do this sometimes way back in the day when I figured out that Microsoft Word had a synonymous replacer and you would always just pick the longest, most complicated word. It took you about 2 minutes to replace every word to sound like a real incoherent douchebag, which was pretty funny. And this dude thinks it makes him superior, which is also very funny. Finally finished my Nuka-Cola bar stools. What do you guys think? That is amazing. I kind of want these. That is so cool.
I see you put some effort in. However, those Nuka-Cola caps look brand new, which doesn't make sense considering the post-apocalyptic setting of the game. And the letters are a bit too bold, which I had to notice as an art major at a prestigious university, as well as someone who takes Fallout seriously.
I mean, yeah, Fallout is post-apocalyptic, but maybe, the post-apocalyptic part doesn't really, fit into the household, mayhaps. So if you want to think about it, these bar stools are basically what they look like when they were produced before the nukes hit. That's also kind of lore-friendly if you think about it, because they were newly produced at some point.
My assumption is that you aren't familiar enough with the game or lack the skill or patience to make the stool truly genuine. Overall, it is a solid effort, but there is a lot of room for improvement. It might impress casual observers, but not an art connoisseur and well-informed gamer like me.
There is this song lyric by the band Hofmeister, also a Swedish band, and kind of nice. And it goes something like, it's easy to talk shit when you got nothing on display. And I think it adds so nicely into these sort of posts. It's just, beautiful. People run from rain, but sit in bathtubs full of water.
Wow, Bukowski, so profound he also bathe fully clothed, you dickhead. Oh, isn't it funny that a person will eat when they're hungry, but will duck if you throw an apple at a face?
It is rather aggravating to see how badly this line has been misinterpreted. The point of the poem is precisely that it is a false equivalence. People run from rain but sit in bathtubs full of water. It is fairly dismal to know that millions of people are worried about the hydrogen bomb, yet they are already dead. Why shelter from the rain when you know that you will bathe a week later? Why agonize over nuclear war when you know that you will die regardless? It is meant to be absurd. The average human can hold their breath for 30 to 90 seconds. The cameraman who filmed Finding Nemo.
Downvote. Finding Nemo is an animation film, meaning there was no camera crew. It was all made on the PC with 3D software.
Oh my god, I can just picture this person at like a party or something. You know, someone does like the fish pun from earlier in the video and be like,
What fish has 2 atoms and it's like a tuna? And it's like, oh, and it's like, actually, a fish has more than 2 atoms. Just appreciate the pun. Everyone knows a fish has more than 2 atoms. Just appreciate the damn pun.
I was gonna reference Marxism, but then no one would understand it.
do it then and explain it. Then why type it, lol? We're all too dumb, allow.
It's so long and nerdy. I'd have to explain the dialectic model, which has the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis scenario, where the working class takes over through revolution. Oh crap, I did it again!
Blorp removed Blorp from the group.
Oh, the only appropriate response. Oh, yes, indeed.
One thing I have learned throughout my years on this wonderful little dirt planet is that there are plenty of people who are way smarter than I am in countless numbers of fields. But one thing I've noticed, especially with people around me, for example, is that even though they know way more than I do in their fields of expertise, they are still able to, explain it pretty well. Obviously not to the extent where I could literally go and replace them in their job, but, explain the basics of what they're doing and why they're doing it and roughly how it works, right? And I think that usually speaks volumes if someone really knows what they're doing or not. When someone does this, when they try to, overhype something and just start word bombing, I always instantly assume they actually know jack shit about what they're talking about. They're just bullshitting and trying to sound smarter by using words and hopefully referencing a subject the people listening aren't too invested in, right? This always makes my BS detector go off pretty hard. I read so much now. I have started citing books in every conversation. Whatever I say, I probably have a quote to back me up. I think I've quoted Aristotle 2 times already today. It's only 10 a.m. It's actually quite annoying being extremely high IQ. Most conversations you have are with plebs who are not worth your time. I only keep people with IQs above 145 in my circle, 1 or 2 with around 130 IQ for me to mock. Lost a couple of followers from this tweet. How does this have 142 likes? Oh my god, man. I think a pretty nice comparison I heard at some point with IQ is something like, imagine you had a weird little elitist group about people who were tall, and they were all talking about how, oh my god, they were potential pro basketball players. And it's like, okay, do any of you all actually play basketball? And they're like, no, none of us play basketball. We have no achievements whatsoever apart from being tall. And it's like, but why is your club called super duper basketball? You're all just tall. This IQ thing is very similar, which I think is why Stephen Hawking said that people that brag about their IQ are losers. Because if you really had things that you achieved due to being smart or working hard, you would show that off, your degrees or, accomplishments or, a work you do that you're proud of or whatever. This is very silly. You just described my brother. He took an online test and he got 160 after 5-10 questions and then bragged about it and looked down on everyone he knew. Oh, man. Very true. #engineering mind. How people see the world. Ugh, look at the plebeians watching the world. How I see the world. A load of formulas everywhere, you see. Oxygen goes into the spine of the rabbit and it breathes out CO2. And there's a bunch of shit. Differentiate ln of y, ln of x to the power of x. So, nonchalantly done, I am flawed. I paused the video at the beginning and did the derivation on the left in my head. I wonder if this person is of Nordic origin, right? Because here, to differentiate is derivata, derivering. So it sounds like they just mistranslated, differentiation, which is kind of funny. Yep, in my head, without prompting, I don't like to use the word genius, but sometimes no other word will fit. Good day. But it's not a difficult equation. It's like 2 variables and 1 internal differentiation. That's basically it. LNs are pretty notorious for being easy when it comes to this kind of stuff. What do you... Oh my god. Shappry-wappry. Renewable energy. Dumbest phrase since climate change. See the first law of thermodynamics, dumbass. #TCOT, #Tea Party. I mean, sure, you can also call green energy stupid because like,
oh my god, the electricity running through the cables aren't literally green. Stupid thing.
but like it's what it means that matters. You know, it's a source of energy that isn't gonna run out for us as humans. You know, solar panels are renewable energy, but if you really wanted to push it onto ridiculous extents, it's like, oh my god, the sun is gonna blow up in 1 billion years. Is it really renewable? It's like, well, for any human purpose it is. Like, it's basically infinite for like, the extent of our lifetimes or whatever. So, why bother? Why? The average IQ during adulthood is between 95 and 105. When I tested at age 5, I tallied 136. But the average IQ always is 95 to 105. The IQ is a scale that averages at 100. That's the whole point. It's in reference to the population. Anyway, let that sink in before you have the audacity, nay, the shamelessness, unadulterated gall to call into question my capacity for knowledge and understanding. Hashtag no moral high road today. What is supposed to sink in exactly? IQ is scaled to age. The average IQ of a 5-year-old is going to hover around 100 as well. Moreover, an IQ of 136 at age 5 does not necessarily translate to having the same high IQ as an adult.
When I was 5, I had the intellectual capabilities of a 7-year-old. Bow to me. I peaked in kindergarten. Suck on that, you little Facebook f***s.
Brianna, you shouldn't even be allowed on a computer, let alone on Facebook all day if you're 16 and still don't know the difference between there, and there. Seen that like 6 times today, estimate Lamau.
If you're 16. Oh my god, if you're gonna be a little grammar Nazi on main, at least, like, grammar check your own post.
Oh my god.
Type Garfield with your eyes closed. Garfield.
Since I can type even without watching my keyboard due to training, and being a novelist, I wouldn't call that a challenge. Sorry, lol. Whoa! You spelled Garfield really wrong!
I remember back in the late 90s, we had like classes on how to type on keyboards. It was already a little bit outdated by then. But I remember there was a kid in our class that could type without looking at his keyboard when he was like 7. And we were all like, whoa, that's so fucking cool, bro. And now we can all do it because we're all chronically online. How to stay humble when you're smarter than everyone else. Can you imagine? Reading this publicly on like a transport or something.
Fuck you, Target. I just want some goddamn shoes. Look at this rainbow shit.
If you're sick of corporations forcing policies of any stripe down your throat, and you're smart enough to know they're patronizing you, then this is the book for you. Curse of the High IQ by himself. Did you just make like a little homophobic tweet? And it went like semi-viral with 10,000 likes. Oh, and also 10,000 comments. Oh my god, it has more comments than likes. This is a bit of war zone. But then using that viral tweet to try to advertise his own book, talking about how smart he is, that has 31 likes. It seems all those IQs didn't teach you much about marketing now, did it? These helpful restroom signs. Bathroom 10 meters, bathroom 11 meters. Now that's pretty funny. Makes you realize that the pillar is 1 meter wide. Then causes you to calculate the volume of the pillar. Then strength of the pillar. How do you do that without knowing the material? Then combined weight of all the floors above. Then using that to estimate the number of people in the building. This comment is just filled. This has to be bait, right? This is just full to the brim with poo. It's like a toilet no one has flushed in a week. Because, like, you don't know the material of it, so you wouldn't know the strength of it. And combined weight of all the floors above, using it to estimate the number of people in the building. Or, you know, an easier way to do it. Is it like rush hour? Or nah? That's probably a better way to calculate it than trying to calculate the volume of a pillar. Am I like getting invested into these dumb discussions? I feel like this is like infecting my brain. Anti-vax mom rubs dirt on child's wound for its natural healing abilities. Tetanus bacteria. Hello there.
Could have just said Chloristidium tenati.
Yeah, he said dirt too. Doesn't this fucking ignoramus know it's called soil? I can also Google Latin words. It's very impressive.
I want to call her Jennifer.
I'm sorry, that name is taken. You can have Jennifer 123, Jennifer 420. I would take Jennifer 420 or XX Jennifer XX. The two latter ones are great. You can actually combine them.
How did the person who made this even think this could be the basis for a joke? People having the same first name has literally existed as long as recorded history.
Yeah, that's why it's a joke. Like, you know, it's recontextualizing online usernames into like IRL names because it's kind of like absurd when you take it into different contexts. That's kind of the haha. You know, that's what makes it haha. You missed the haha. How many presidents from United States an average US citizen know? I'm from Europe and I know 25 of them. Oh, like personally? Holy shit, that's pretty impressive. For some reason, it's acceptable for people to point out that I have no sense of humor, but unacceptable for me to point out they are actually just way too dumb to understand my dry wit.
I float around in my brain balloon with all my IQs, keeping me afloat.
Other people, YOLO, me, carpe diem quam minimum credula postero. If none of you peasants know what it means, it's taken from a Latin ode and translates to seize the day, put very little trust in tomorrow.
Lol, us peasants?
Yes, you peasants. 9 people liked this.
Man, 2010 Facebook was an absolute wild west of just high school cringe. Oh my god, man, it's so good.
Another Tinder profile. Looking for a good, clean, adventurous fun. Don't bother swiping right if you have an IQ lower than 135 because you won't be able to keep up.
Keep up with what? Being unlikable on Tinder? It's alright. Ah, thank God that is over. Thank you so much for watching Lottie's Losses and Losses. I do hope you learned something today and your brain grew just a little smidge. I do hope you have an amazing rest of your day, you wonderful, beautiful beings, and I will see you again in the very near future. Take care. Mwah.